Nice House by the Sea, issue 7, James Tynion IV and Alvaro Martinez Bueno on the art. So, Nice House by the Sea is back. It's been over a year since we had issue 6, because that was in 2024, if I recall correctly. And the big thing that had set up by the end of those first 6 issues is that the group of characters in the other house, the House by the Sea, were going to try and wipe out the characters from the original House by the Lake to try and up their chances of winning the Living Forever. You know, they want to be the house that wins. And this issue builds to that quite a bit. I mean, it does reveal some other stuff, like Reggie early on is talking to whatever character.
Walter?
Well, in the flashback he's talking to Walter, but he's telling this all to this is a couple of pages later.
Ryan.
It's Ryan,
the other artist.
The artist, yeah. But basically, he's talking about this place that Walter took him, which was like the matter or the technology or the organic thing that would become the houses. Like, this is like the life force that would be molded into what the house is going to become. So it feels like maybe we'll come back to this and explore it a little bit more later, but it kind of feels like, yeah, like if you imagine like a ball of clay that becomes the pot after you've done the Demi Moore Patrick Swayze ghost shtick to turn it into the vase. Well, that's what this stuff is. It's the primordial energy that the alien species uses to create these pocket universes.
And what I love too is that that's why Walter went to Reg, because he's an artist. So he's the one that he can make things, he can add this sense to it, which I do think is the charm of the lake house, right? Like he even tells him, because Reg is like, yeah, we'll do like a Caribbean resort, and he goes, no, it's got to be something much more that means to our friend group, right? So like make it a lake house in Wisconsin, and because it feels more lived in and more akin to what they're from and stuff. So I really like that, again, we're getting a little bit into Walter's intention here, to where if he is trying to stack his deck to win and save his friends, right, he's including them on from the early parts, right? Because he's just going to wipe their memories anyways. So, and just the idea that Reg saw there was like enough for like 50 of them. And then the hall that they're standing in, right, with all the blackness, that's where he thinks Walter had taken him. And none of those are there now. So where'd they go? They're somewhere. And
it's very much a vague guess of like 50. He just says he saw a bunch of these, so he thinks that there must be about 50. It'd be funny if there was 52, just to give it a little DC tie-in,
ding, ding.
Little sprinkle. But he's explaining all this to Ryan after we get all these it's very dark and just little bits of colour from the blackness, but then the last couple of pages of him talking to Walter, it becomes much more bright, as if it's creating or something, like the process has started. But when he's talking to Ryan after the fact, it's like, okay, now they're just in a black void. Like all that matter became the houses, it became those little pocket worlds. So now this place is just empty. But they're going with the dog to the nice house by the sea. They're going to the second house, and the dog's kind of leading them there. And the dog's Walter, right? We basically know that at this point, even if the characters don't. And when they get there, they walk around, they talk about how it's different and how it's more of like a seaside town, and you can smell the salt water and how it's a bit different to what they've got. And it's actually like they see his name's Oliver, the writer from the not the writer, sorry, the actor from the other house.
The actor.
Yeah, he's the one that was sympathetic to the original house. He's the one that had the backstory with them, and they try and break the window, but it's not working. And They one of them throws like a brick or something at the window, but notably it's not really the brick that opens the window or crashes the window, it's the dog. It's Walter doing something with his eyes that makes sure the window can break, because otherwise I don't think it would have broken. I think it's him using his powers to help with this.
Because even Oliver's like, I didn't think that would work, and you look in there, it looks like he's been struggling to break through that. He goes, it wouldn't break from the inside, I've tried. So yeah, it's definitely Walter allowed that to happen.
Yeah, and then he's like, wait a minute, what's this dog? And it's like, is it your dog that you brought a dog with you? It's like, no, we just asked for a dog a couple of weeks ago. And there's a moment where Oliver just looks down at the dog, looks at the eyes, and his eyes widen, and he's like, okay. I think he knows that's Walter. I think he's in that moment looked him in the eye and went, oh, that's Walter. Right, okay, I'll just not question it then.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but he warns them. It's like, hey, my group are going after your group. They want to up their chances of winning. So the back half of this issue is a really well-paced, like, horror movie type thing where we spend some pages with various characters around the house. You know, one doing the radio DJ thing, the couple kind of like consoling each other in the kitchen area. And then ultimately it's about these other characters showing up to kill them and like hiding in the darkness behind them. The most notable is the writer from The House by the Sea, because he's like the more psychotic one where he's like, oh, I'm going to enjoy this. Like he comes in monologuing and saying that, you know, the others want to make this quick, but where's the fun in that? Like he seems to be enjoying this. So we've got like Ryan, Reggie and the dog, and I guess Oliver as well from the other house, rushing back to maybe try and save who they can. But it does seem like this attack starts here before we end the issue. We see, like, you know, rocks being picked up. We see a little bit of a blood spray on the tombstone from the one person who died. You know, like I think their partners visiting the grave, so they might already be dead, or at the very least injured because they get hit with the head with a rock, presumably. So, but no, there's a lot of good, really moody art here of, like, you know, like the one woman holding a knife in her hand and like, oh, like this is like an attack. And like, honestly, the architect of the Nice House by the Sea, when he attacks the comedian in the control center of the world, he's like, hey, like, if you had designed this place or were running this place like I run our place, you would have known we were here the second we showed up, and you'd have been able to deal with us, but you didn't, right? I cannot see how in any way your group is superior. Like, why are you exceptional? Like, they've clearly not understood at this point that this group weren't picked for the same reasons they were picked on their house. And then he looks like a monster as all of his different arms come out to control the world controls. And he basically says the issue ends, well, more or less ends, with him saying, I'm going to turn off the atmosphere to your house, and we'll see how that, like, you know, how everyone reacts to that. So he's just going to suffocate everyone, which did beg the question for a second. I'm like, wait, wouldn't that affect your people too? But maybe not. Maybe he can be more specific than that. I don't know.
Maybe, well, because he even says, like, this, your console is like designed by children. You know, anyone can come over and just start pushing buttons. So yeah, but I feel like it would only affect theirs, right? Like,
no, but I mean, like,
no, because if it's the atmosphere, you got to breathe.
Yeah, yeah, because all their people are there in this house, or, you know, in this world right now. So, yeah, I would suspect it would affect them as well. Maybe he doesn't care.
Maybe, yeah, no. That panel with the page with all the panels on there, and just, you know, like you said, it's like a horror movie. You see them being stalked, and then it cuts to like the rock and the knife and the crowbar and all of that, and just, again, it's Tynion and Bueno working together so well.
Yeah, all the various weapons, and like, you know, it doesn't seem like they've all struck yet. You know, one's looking through a window at the couple, one's, you know, tapping on the window with a crowbar, where the others are talking. Like, they're just about to. It does seem like the one guy by the grave. It does seem like he got hit though, because the blood spatter would suggest that he has. But so I do wonder how many we lose in this like attempted, you know, big murder sequence. I expect at least one or two, just to really sell it as like a big thing that, oh, a couple of them have been killed by this other group. And is this allowed? Well, you know, like Max on, like, you know, the one controlling the other house, like, is that alien going to be pissed that they've broken these rules and went to try and kill another house? Like, is there going to be ramifications for this? You know, I don't know. It's interesting, but it was a very suspenseful issue. Like, the first half was all about kind of just easing us back into it, because, you know, they know there's been a big break between issues. It's getting us back into the mix of things. But the second they get to Oliver and he's like, oh, they're going after everyone else in your house, from that point on, it's just like a tension building exercise, because you know they're in danger. For sure. So even though they're making small talk, you're like, oh no, I know someone's coming to get you. How are they going to try and do it? Where are they going to show up from? I don't think you're all going to die, but it feels like a big deal that they're coming for you.
Yeah. So in the first series, in Nice House by the Lake, we had those flash forwards with the people introducing the issue, right?
Yes.
And we're assuming that's the very far future. So I could assume that we know that at least those ones that are setting that up survive. And we know that the lake house area ends up with what looks like a post-apocalypse type thing, right?
It very well could be a result of what this guy's doing here with the world.
And that's what I'm thinking, right? And so we know that X amount of the lake house people survive, but we don't know how they survive. For that to all to come around again. Because that was something I didn't think about until we started talking about it right now. Where those, the first series.
Yeah.
And what all that means.
One of the little touches that I really like is that the controls for like the world that the comedian was using, there's like just like empty cans of soda and like, junk food lying over it. Like clearly it's not like, I imagine the one in the other house is like pristine and like he keeps it like this command center. I just think it's a nice simple little touch just to sell the idea of like who these people are.
And it's because of that, if he was like paying attention, he would have seen it, because that's what that one page here is, where like it turns red, right? Like there's something going on there. And then if he didn't have all this junk food all over it, they would have been ready for that type of stuff. So, but yeah, I'm thinking the architect guy, was he the doctor? Because I was going back and looking at they have the character sheet for both of the houses, and I'm trying to match him up, but that's the only one that I could see that it being. And so we have the writer, the doctor, the historian, and the artist are all the ones that went.
One second. Which house are you talking about? That's kind of important.
I'm talking about the C.
Right. Okay.
The C house, right? The ones that came over.
Right.
So you have the writer, who's super, super creepy.
Yeah, he's the one in the library talking about how he's looking for his own name in the books and all that. Yeah. So that's the writer.
Yep. And then you have their artist, who's the Asian lady, and she has the crowbar, and she's looking in at the others. And then you have the historian, who hit the guy at the grave with the rock, right? And then I'm assuming that's the doctor, who's at the controls, right? So that's only 4 of them that we've seen that made it over there, too. So
there's another woman.
Assuming
there's another woman, because there's a woman holding a knife as well.
Let's see.
Yes,
let me see who that is.
So there's at least one more.
Yes, she looks like she is either the singer or the scientist. So there's 5 of them too. So I'm trying to remember, because it's been a year. Did they all agree to go over to that house, or you think this is a faction that was like, we're just gonna do what we want?
Well, no, it was
regardless.
There was kind of a vote, because that's why they locked up Oliver, right? Because he was like vocal against it. And the others were kind of a mix of the ones who were really into it and the ones who were accepting that they should do it and weren't speaking out against it. But Oliver was the only one who seemed to not want it to actually happen, I think. Again, it's been over a year, so if I'm misremembering that,
So that's what because if that's the case, there's still a good number of them that are there with Reg and Ryan, right?
Possibly,
in the C area. So they're out running around as well. But yeah, this was a nice return to the book, right? Like, I was able to jump in, like, with again, thinking of what had happened, because there's been a year, right? But I feel like we jumped in pretty well and remembered all the big plot points that we needed to, after such a big layoff. So creative team.
No, it was smart
really
to like take the first half to like sort of ease us back into it, and then like kind of remind us what the predicament was at the end of the last issue, because then it was like the back half was just super entertaining and tense as a result, where you're worrying about how they're going to show up and which characters might die, and obviously we're still leaving it here in this place, and it's a super sinister ending, this idea of just messing with the controls, because right before he does that as well, like he makes the comedian's mouth shut, like Neo style from the Matrix, where his mouth just sort of melts together, and it's like, oh shit, like he's just manipulating everything here, and that's how dangerous that is.
Well, like, and just the idea of what makes them exceptional, like you can't be exceptional without taking someone else out, and that's not true, right? Like, you can be exceptional while working as a group and stuff. So I do like seeing like that cutthroat mentality, what they're willing to do and if that ultimately is their downfall, right? That they're going to take things too far.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be able for the Lake House to be able to push back.
To be fair, I don't think he was ever
them.
arguing that's why they're exceptional, though, because they're cutthroat. I think they just think they're exceptional because they were picked for being exceptional in the first place, and he just thinks this group of people are, like, he's underestimating them. He thinks they're pathetic. He's like, why would you be picked for any of this? Like, you're all losers. Right.
But there's just that thing where they have to be the winners no matter what. Instead of being like, yo, what are we winning? You know? Like, are we going to be the only humans alive if that's the case? You know what I mean?
Getting to live forever. That was the implication in this issue, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I don't know.
Really good stuff.
Yeah, and the art's phenomenal throughout. Obviously, it feels very almost expressionist painting in all that first half with all the the material that would become the houses and the worlds that they're in.
And very psychedelic at the same time, too. Yeah. A lot of colors bouncing around, and the colors working overtime. So again, I don't know if Bueno does his own stuff.
Yeah, but then of course you've also got all the build up to the attacks at the end with the people sneaking in the shadows, holding weapons. All that stuff is really well paced and laid out. So the art's just, you know, working on every level pretty much here. So really not much default at all, to be honest. All right, what were you giving Nice House by the Sea issue 7?
I'm gonna give this a straight 8.
All right. Yeah, I'm going with a 9. This was fantastic. So, 9 out of 10 for me.